Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sphons CCW Live Show. Brought to you, of course, by Sphons CCW. What do we got going on tonight? Bunch of stuff. Class schedule. 11-1 is concealed carry class. 11-15 concealed carry class. 11-29 concealed carry class. And 12-12 concealed carry class. 10-24 is basic rifle and carbine. 10-24 and 10-25 is rifle instructor. Working on the schedule for over the winter and this upcoming spring. So keep an eye on the website for more offerings. We're working on a few other things to throw up for you guys, and some new stuff coming out. So we'll get that stuff up on the website, and you should be able to mull it over as you see fit. We got any events coming up?
Lucky X.
8th of November.
Yeah, November 8th is going to be a Lucky X shoot. Down at the club, 1 to 4. Always a good time. So, yeah. What else do we got? Range tip? You want to do your range tip?
Yeah, about the only ammo that's in relatively readily supplied or available supply is shotgun. And there's some rifle ammunition out there, unless you've been saving it for a while. But pistol ammunition, nobody wants to shoot pistol right now because you can't replace the ammunition you're shooting. So why not practice with your rifle and shotgun? You know, some of the range drills that you have with cover and concealment, stuff like that, you know, all the fundamentals and everything still apply. And, you know, you can shoot up shotgun shells a lot cheaper than you can shoot up 380 or 9mm nowadays. So
Certainly.
And, you know, no reason not to do it. You know, shotguns, most of our go-to home defense gun, so you could set up some kind of scenario, whatever you wanted to do as far as, you know, some home defense scenario and with intruders and bad guy targets and whatever.
Yeah.
Just shoot the crap out of birdshot all day.
Yeah, well, and you know, and with that, you know, also incorporate if you're thinking about using a shotgun, you know, for home defense. First off, you know, good thing, you know, take it down to the range and get comfortable and familiar with it, but also get comfortable and familiar with the operation of a light with your shotgun.
Certainly.
You know, especially, you know, an auto loader is pretty easy. You can kind of use it, but you know, about like, you know, but the same Harry's grip as you do with a pistol. But you know, you get a pump gun. What do you do now? You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and reloads too.
Yeah.
You know, reloading a shotgun, it's
slow. It's a lot harder.
Take my old Mossberg and just shake it.
yeah, there you go.
But there's some opportunities for training there. It's not a whole lot of money. Way less than pistol ammunition nowadays when it's going for $60 a box for 380. But you know, stay in the know, stay sharp.
Yeah, keeps your skill set up.
Yeah, skill set. That's a big thing.
Same fundamentals apply with a shotgun and rifle as you do with a pistol. So
yeah.
When back to, I'm sure a lot of you guys out there, oh, I just got this shotgun with some buckshot for you know, my home defense gun is my go-to for my home defense. Where does that, you know, where does all that stuff hit?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I just watched a video earlier today about they were doing buckshot, and a bunch of the reduced recoil loads and some of the fancier defense whiz-bangy loads, premium buckshot defense loads at 10 yards. Look, the wad was still carrying them in the shot, and it just looked like a big slug hole.
Yeah.
Or they went with just the cheapo, like the cheapest you could buy at one point in our short distant past ago were you know, $4 a box for a 5-count box of them. They were the ones that were opening up inside of 10 yards. So do you know that with,
Right,
you know,
exactly.
Well, the same thing applies to any firearms it does with a pistol. You test your equipment, practice
test
with your
your
gear. There's a ton of different things that go into that. Test your ammunition. Make sure it cycles, make sure it feeds. I mean, look at is it your Maverick that won't feed the low brass?
I asked some of the Walmart, the bulk, super cheap Winchesters with that super low. It's like tin. It ain't really brass anymore. On some of the silver ones, it'll jam up on them. Now you get a decent shot shell. Because even some of the stuff we have here, some of the Top Guns and stuff we have here, still have that super low brass to them.
Yeah.
But they're not built to that big box store spec.
Right.
So
I mean, it's good ammo.
yeah, it's good ammo. Those will cycle. And then you get into high brass buckshot. I mean, I got some real buckshot that.
Yeah, that stuff's pretty good.
Well, that stuff hammers you anyway, but that stuff, that thing just runs.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Carry tip. Yeah,
We've seen a lot of this lately, and this this came from. I got the idea from him. You know, and
Of course,
people on Facebook are, you know, you
the feminazis on Facebook.
Yeah.
the Nazis on. Go ahead.
There's books that are free to download. There's good information in there.
Yeah, and I guess what we're getting at is carry laws. You know, take what you get off the internet with I guess, take it for what you paid for it.
Yeah. I mean, free is not always best.
Yeah, my buddy said ain't always right.
Yeah, my buddy
Never
said.
right.
Never right, yeah.
Never right.
Worst statement that there is. My buddy said, well, your buddy's an idiot.
Yeah.
So Corey spent all week arguing with people on Facebook over stupid stuff.
If you have a concealed carry permit, carry.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
So you can get their Attorney General's manual on their website. You download it, it's no secret.
If you take one of our classes, we'll give you one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Know
can
your
get
defense laws.
hunting, know your
Wherever
defense
you
laws wherever you're at. There's resources and apps, and just, do some research with it and get some solid opinions on what what's valuable and what isn't. What was the other one you were having? Was hunting laws,
Hunting.
which you can get a book at any place that does the hunting licenses. You can
Download
look
it
on
for
the
free.
Yeah,
Download it
I'm
for
looking
free.
at the free app here. The only thing I gotta take issue with on the free app is where it says may not do. It references you back to the wrong one and what you may do. But number 10 on what a deer hunter may do the following. Person possessing a valid concealed handgun license may carry a concealed handgun while hunting, but it may not be used to shoot at, or kill any wild animal.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. That's from the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
And
It's the Huntfish Ohio
And
app.
that cost you like what? 5
Nothing.
seconds to do.
Right.
For those of you that don't know, ODNR finally came out with an app. I don't know how long it's been out. I just found out about it. It's free. You can purchase and manage your license, your permits, everything through that app.
Yeah.
It's great.
I didn't know they had an app till today.
But it's kind of a pretty sweet app.
I
I don't like the
found
maps on the app for like the public land stuff, but
No, but your permit's right there, your license is
permit,
right
license, your
Yeah.
game check.
there. Yep,
your-
game check.
You can fly. It's got all of the hunting, fishing, trapping, all the regulations. It's
Yeah.
I found out last night and texted Nate.
Yeah. So we got a pretty good video for you guys tonight. And I see our viewership count kind of dropped off just before the video. So this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna go full screen with this one, because this is a 2-part video. And I actually come across this from a local fellow, it's Jordan Miller News. He was complaining about people treating reporters badly, and this woman I guess Mrs. Jackman is her a name. Anyway, we're going to watch this. We're going to watch the first one. We'll talk about it a little bit, and we watch the second part too. So there are two different camera angles, but.
Is that right?
What's up?
You okay?
What's up? I told you.
Go away! Get away from me! Go away! Go away! Go! Get away! Let go! Let go! Sir, get away from him! That's what you get! What's wrong with you? Leave him alone!
Phenomenal. So we go to the second one. Hopefully that won't.
Get away from him. I'm recording you right now. Stop it. Leave him alone. Let go. Leave him alone. I'll call the police. Sir, get away from him. Get away from him. That's what you get.
And down he goes.
What's wrong with you?
All right. So I guess if we go back to this moment in time here, that's after the gentleman approached, and we're going to refresh this page here and go back to it. If we take a look at this here, the thing is, she's doing her, I guess, news story interview, whatever it might be, okay? And what we want to look at here is kind of pre-attack indicators. She sees this man coming over, and you look at him, his fists are
Doubled up.
clenched, he's laser focused, appears to be heavily intoxicated, really hasn't said much, but he continues directly at that person, makes a I told you statement, and then proceeds to attack. So then they start getting loud and yelling at him. So first thing, as he was approaching, somebody should have engaged him. The second thing is, the gentleman in this, we're going to stop this right here and go back to our other view, because this is where that other view kicks off, right? Watch the gentleman with the camera. He's going backwards. Now he's putting his camera gear in between, but then he allows him to get hold of him. So going backwards is generally never the right way. You can't move backwards as fast as somebody can move forward, even at a slow speed. Move laterally, okay? And then there's a ton of things that this guy could have done to keep this particular individual off of him. But we're going to mute this. Then he turns his back on him and tries to get away, and he falls down, okay? So here's the issue with it. He was hands-on. Turn my camera back on here. He was hands-on with the guy, close distance. He had no idea whether he had anything else on him. Has no idea about his physical abilities. Although the guy looks not very physically fit, it doesn't mean that he still can't hurt you. This gentleman in a red shirt approached quickly. They made no attempt to use the car as a cover or concealment device. They did split, the reporter and the cameraman did split so that he couldn't attack both at the same time. But instead of immediately calling the police, she decided to videotape her cameraman. And I mean, where are we going to go if the guy in the red shirt starts absolutely trouncing on the cameraman?
Yeah.
Now we're just.
I'm going to call the police.
You've delayed an already could be delayed reaction by them.
You're already delaying the response time. So, you know, we need to get that going first off. The cameraman going backwards, went around the car, back and forth with the gentleman, and really made no real attempt to defend himself. And out of all the issues here, the one thing that I would like to say is neither one of them had a plan.
No.
Neither one of them had thought about somebody coming up in essentially a very charged society, especially when it comes to news and reporters. Neither one of them had thought about what are we going to do if we run into somebody who does not want us here or does not like us or decides to do us harm.
My question was, why wasn't that guy in the red shirt wearing that tripod?
Well, yeah,
He could have. The cameraman. It looked like he was really. You know, I'm sure he seemed quite worried about his camera.
Well, I'm
but
sure.
The back hatch of their little SUV was open, and he went by it.
Yeah.
Tossed it, and now he's got a 4.5 foot, 5 foot tripod that
You can. It's a standoff device.
I mean, for years, everybody fought off cavalry with a 12-foot lance.
Yeah.
Because the cavalry couldn't get to them.
Right? So, yeah, use your standoff device. And that just goes back to if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
Now, this situation worked out. Nobody was seriously hurt. The other thing that plays into this is if we look at this from an armed citizen perspective, this is one of those 5 times more likely to get into altercations than deadly force that we talk about in almost every class. So they didn't have a plan for that either, right?
Right.
And we run into a drunk guy who's mad because we're in the parking lot. We have no idea why he's mad. I guess reading later on, the guy said he was drunk and maybe has some mental issues or whatever and apologized. But that's neither here nor there. Him doing harm to us, it doesn't, if we get harmed by this person, the apology doesn't really do anything afterwards.
Yeah.
No, especially if you get seriously hurt.
Well, and
Right.
the thing is that the more time you're essentially, you know, playing ring around a rosy with this guy, and he's got a hold of you and stuff like that, is it making him madder and madder and madder to the point of, if he had something, you know, maybe maybe he just came over to try and boot him out of the parking lot. Now he's
Escalating the situation.
You didn't have a plan to try and get out and get away and and get the police there and do that. So he's in that altercation and in reaching distance. Maybe he gets tired and says, "To hell with it," and takes the pocket knife out of his pocket. And
Oh, right.
Yeah.
you never know.
There's a ton of different
Or
things.
if there's somebody else across there who sees him going down and comes across also, so then you deal with a second person.
Well, I guess the thing about it is, it would be real simple to put this into a situation where this is a pepper spray situation,
Yeah.
and that would have pretty much ended the issue right then and there.
Right.
A pocket taser would have ended the issue right then and there. We always caution everybody against going hands, feet, and fists with people because you don't know their abilities, and every time you do that, you run the risk of injuring yourself.
Well, in the hands, feet, and fist one, I always like to bring up the one we had several months ago with the middle welterweight championship UFC contender.
Yeah.
Who went feet and fists with a guy that he didn't get physically beat up, and he physically beat the hell out of the guy, but the guy kept taking it. So, the guy's obviously intoxicated. Every one of us has I've seen intoxicated people clobber into the side of concrete blocks at a ski slope and
get back up.
Live to tell the tale because they were so intoxicated they couldn't feel the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah. Plan to fail. Don't plan to fail. Come up with a plan. Do something. Move laterally. Get in the car. Use cover and concealment that's in the area. Just because you don't have a gun on you doesn't mean that those things don't still apply.
yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, it's essentially what you need to do. On to the news. See if I can find it here. There we go. On to the news. In Coventry Township, Ohio, a deputy from the Summit County Sheriff's Office rescued a woman from a home in Coventry Township Tuesday who authorities say had been kidnapped, held against her will, and raped. Coventry's not that far away from here.
By Kent.
John Lentz, 60, has been charged with rape and kidnapping, both first-degree felonies, according to the sheriff's office. Authorities said this is not Lentz's first run-in with the law. He has prior conviction of aggravated assault, burglary, drug possession, and is a Tier 3 sex offender in the state of Ohio. Authorities said the deputy responded after the department received 2 911 calls about a woman being held against her will in a basement at a house on Schwartz Road. She texted a friend to let her know where she was at. Her friend called 911. Inspector Bill Holland said she was being held captive in a basement. When the deputy arrived at the home, he was met by an elderly man who said there wasn't a woman inside. The deputy then called out sheriff's office while standing in the front doorway. That's when the deputy heard a woman downstairs start screaming, authorities said. Moments later, a partially clothed woman ran up a flight of stairs from the basement. Another man who was running up behind her tried to grab her and drag her back down the stairs. They did know each other, Holland said, so it wasn't a stranger abduction or anything of that nature. The deputy intervened, and Lent was taken into custody. He was then transported to the Summit County Jail. Holland said it's difficult to predict how the situation would have played out had the woman not been able to signal a friend for help. It was a good thing she did that, Holland said. I don't know that was his motive or what the end game was, but we were able to intervene as early as possible and get her out of the house. Authorities say they determined that 2 elderly men who were inside of the home were unaware of the woman being kept in the basement. The woman was treated at a nearby hospital for injuries related to the sexual assault. So this kind of stuff happens, and it's not far off stuff that happens. I mean, head on a swivel type stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, Summit County, it's Akron.
Yeah.
Right.
Half an hour away. So, keep an eye out for this kind of stuff. It's terrible. Next thing we got up here is we're always dealing with road rage. And I guess the takeaway before we even get to this article is don't point a shotgun inside of a car that the guy inside the car is armed in. It's probably going to end badly. Northern Kentucky man will not face any charges after officials ruled he was acting in self-defense when he shot and killed a man during an altercation on a busy interstate last Friday. Joshua Taylor was on his way home from work when he crossed paths with John Patrick Abel, who was driving home after a day of fishing. Witnesses described Abel driving aggressively, and eventually Taylor's car and Abel's SUV collided, sending Abel's vehicle spinning until it came to a stop near an on-ramp. Taylor quickly got on the phone with 911 to report he'd been involved in a wreck with another driver. He was on the phone with dispatchers. He described the driver approaching his own vehicle with a rifle in his hand. Dispatchers heard a brief argument between the 2 men before shots rang out. Taylor told dispatch that he had fired shots from his own gun and struck Abel. The call's recording shows Taylor administering first aid. Abel, 41, was transported to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead from multiple gunshot wounds. Some news report indicated that Abel was from Bellevue, but his most recent address was Cincinnati. Taylor, 43 of Cincinnati, was questioned by police and released Friday evening. After reviewing the evidence, the Commonwealth's attorney quickly announced that Taylor was justified in shooting Abel, noting that under Kentucky law, an individual is justified in the use of physical force upon another when the individual believes such force is necessary to protect against the use of unlawful force by another person. The investigation by Fort Wright and Keaton County Police Departments conclusively found the shooter was reasonably inferior for his own life and responded lawfully. A Taurus 9mm handgun was recovered from Taylor's person. Taylor is believed to have fired his handgun 4 times. Abel did not fire his rifle. The gun was determined to be unloaded with a trigger lock in place. So we're going to point an unloaded, trigger-locked firearm at somebody in Kentucky.
Oh, wrong car.
It's
There's
just,
a meme in there somewhere.
I guarantee you there's a meme in there somewhere.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I know, right?
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, that's
Wrong car.
There was no way for Mr. Taylor to know the rifle being stuck in his face was inoperable, said Sanders, so that does not make his reaction unreasonable or unlawful. And that goes back to a premise where even though the firearm was not capable of being discharged,
You don't
it
know
is,
that.
well, that's the thing, that would be considered self-defense. Essentially, your fear is reasonable even though it is found to be mistaken. Because you have no prior knowledge that the firearm would not go off, you're actually wrong about being in danger, but it's still justified and reasonable because you have no way to know in that circumstance that you're not in danger.
Yeah.
It's like when kids will take airsoft guns and cut the orange noses off them and then point them at police. Everybody gets all wound up about that. But the simple fact is, even though the police officer is actually not in danger, he has no way to reasonably discern that.
Right.
That one I got that the orange tip's cut off of.
Yeah.
The BB barrel is inset from the front of the frame of the pistol, so when you look at the end of it,
Yeah.
It looks
That's
real.
Yeah, it looks real. Yeah, it looks like a 226 Sig.
Sig 226 airsoft gun. Got green tape wrapped around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty
Looks like
hard
a-
to tell.
I think you can stop at 9mm down. Keep going.
Yeah. So, in fact, anyone who has a gun pointed at him should always assume the gun is loaded, Sanders said. Neither party involved has a criminal record. Both were lawfully in possession of their respective firearms. Kentucky no longer requires a permit to carry concealed weapons and does not require the gun to be registered. You can see in the picture above that Abel clearly had his rifle pointed at Taylor through the open passenger side window. At that point, Taylor was clearly in fear for his life, and prosecutors made the right call in determining that Taylor was justified in shooting self-defense. Abel, who leaves behind 2 daughters, never should have left his vehicle with his rifle in hand to confront Taylor, but he willingly chose to do so. Sadly, it was a mistake and cost him his life and left his loved ones mourning his death. So he is absolutely at fault for probably the vast majority. I don't know when it happened with the driving beforehand or who started the conversation or anything like that, but I mean, was the fishing really that bad? He had to be in that bad of a mood? Did his boat sink or what?
It's supposed to be relaxing, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know.
And it's something that insurance could have covered it.
Yeah.
Could have had it, you know.
Well, it said they were driving erratically before that, so.
You know, you get in a wreck, car accident, car insurance covers it. And we've said this time and time again. When the gun goes in the holster, the attitude goes in the safe.
Yeah.
Or the rack in his case, or however he
Something.
rifle.
Something.
But
So the next thing we got is,
That 9mm dummy round fits in the inset part of my airsoft gun. So
Yeah,
if
so
anybody's
it
wondering-
looks-
So that's 9mm diameter. And it's dark in there.
yeah, can't tell the difference. So, SWAT team leaves standoff with an armed kidnapper to avoid unnecessary confrontation. This is a product of some of the stuff that's happening in society. This is Aurora, Colorado, which is getting highly California-ized.
Yeah, everybody's moving out of California into Colorado because they ruined California. Now they're trying to ruin Colorado.
Yeah, which they're moving from the wrong parts of California, because there's a lot of California in physical dimension that is, hasn't lost their mind. It seems to be San Francisco and Los Angeles that lost their mind, and then the taxes got so high nobody could afford to live there, so they moved to Colorado because the taxes were lower, and then they ruined it too. Anyway, police in Aurora, Colorado were ordered to fall back during an armed standoff with a dangerous criminal. A bizarre de-escalation attempt to prevent unnecessary confrontation. The Aurora Police Department, which received a boost in training and equipment following the Dark Knight shooting that took place almost a decade ago, initially came to the conservatory area residents to look for a felony child abuse investigation. APD reported Eric Burns, 39, had a valid misdemeanor, no bond, domestic violence warrant out of Denver. According to CBS Local, SWAT team arrived with armored-up vehicles and was prepared to siege the home if need be. After hours of negotiation, Burns released his 6-year-old daughter. Shortly after, multiple police units packed up after command units made the decision to vacate. Didn't go in and get the guy. Now, they got the kid out, so we're going to give him that. We're pretty shocked, said local resident Jasmine Stotts. We thought for sure they would have arrested someone. It's quite concerning they would do that. If someone's got a warrant out for their arrest, why wouldn't they have been arrested? Police have been unable to locate Burns since leaving the scene.
Well, no kidding.
So now he's probably got he's got felony warrants.
Yeah.
For kidnapping, and I'm sure they've got some sort of assaults and all kinds of stuff like that. And
He's out there walking around.
Right? So the next part's really
now
good.
he's on the lam.
APD released a statement defending their move, claiming it was in response to protests around the country.
There you go. There you have it.
Members of our community and across the nation have made it very clear that they want their police departments to respond differently to some incidents, particularly when there is a possibility of using serious force against a subject. Avoiding unnecessary confrontations is now a top priority for the department. Sometimes this means walking away from the situation and utilizing investigative resources to apprehend persons at a later time. Which I can respect that. I absolutely can respect that if there's... But
they're on the chopping block, and essentially his command is proving a point, because what happens if he does it to somebody else?
yeah.
Well, that's just it. You let violent people like that go, and then what's stopping them from harming somebody else when it could have been ended?
Nothing, because now they're going to get the idea that...
They finally,
Well,
somebody,
once.
or a deputy in, New Mexico spots the guy and pulls him over, and the guy opens up on him.
Yeah.
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 Ridiculous.
That police department is now responsible for anybody in danger.
Yeah. So, if anybody's been following it's a New York Post article, I think, about the Biden campaign that's been shut down. This come out today. Senators introduce a bill to amend a rule over third-party internet content. And we talk about this quite a lot, how certain social media platforms will restrict our content and or bury our page and or take our ads accounts away and do all kinds of stuff that is just hostile to us.
Well, Zuckerberg and the head of Twitter they're
going to be called to the Senate.
Have been subpoenaed by the Senate for interfering in an election.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's a felony charge.
in the wake of the allegation of big tech companies suppressing political speech and news stories on their platforms, Republican senators and congressmen introduced legislation to amend Section 230, part of a federal code that regulates third-party content on the internet. And we're going to get too deep into this, but the gist of it is the bill would allow Americans to file lawsuits against big tech companies who breach good faith user agreements, suppress political speech, and block other content. Bud's office said it would also prohibit big tech companies from receiving Section 230 protection unless they change their terms of service to promise to operate in good faith and be subject to a $5,000 fine, actual damages, and attorney fees if they violate the agreement, which is peanuts for big tech. But what happens is, it's the actual damages that can result in a massive... You know what I did notice today? For over a year, when I pull up our Facebook business page from my personal Facebook page, I am restricted to view it only as a visitor. And as of this morning, I can now administer my the business Facebook page through the regular Facebook app. I don't have to log out and go to the business page app to administer our business Facebook page.
They're trying to make the case moot.
And also, it looks like that our ads account may have been reestablished. So it just seems kind of funny.
I know they were talking about it this morning, even on NPR. They were talking about, well, the old thing back from the 90s, 96 with Clinton, about how they're using it now. Like, one of the things they're looking into is the ability for the big tech and the social media, when they start altering stuff and moving stuff and taking stuff and stuff like, they've now been put into place as an editor.
Yeah.
Whereas you
you
couldn't sue the news for a guy writing an op-ed.
Right.
You could sue the editor.
Yeah.
Right.
If they edited it.
Well, and that's what this says. It says Section 230 set the legal framework for the internet as we know it today and relies heavily on user content rather than content that companies create. Without Section 230, companies would not be willing to take so many risks. The U.S. Commerce Department recently petitioned the FCC to clarify the ambiguities in the Section 230 protections. Noting Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas said that the courts have applied Section 230 in a way that appears to go far beyond the actual text of the provision. In September, U.S. Justice Department proposed draft legislation to reform Section 230. In March, President Donald Trump signed an executive order attempting to limit the ways in which social media companies were using Section 230. We're here today to defend free speech from one of the greatest dangers that faced in American history. Social media companies like Twitter and Facebook that engage in censoring or political misconduct under the order would no longer have the same protections, which is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they're a publisher.
Which I don't like getting the government involved in anything really, because it seems like they screw it up. But the problem is with the big tech companies, there is nobody other than the U.S. government that has got the resources to punch these guys in the nose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's right.
There is nobody.
Yeah, nobody else.
The French government tried it, and they just went, what are you people?
Yeah.
Right? It was 3 or 4 years ago. So hopefully they get punched in the nose. And this is the other frustrating news article of the day. Antifa. Here's the thing. Rioters trash Portland restaurant after Antifa reviewers target it. But the black owner just got the last word. In this thing, get down to this. Here we go. On the day Yelp introduced a new racist behavior wokeness rating, Antifa and Black Lives Matter activists in Portland were seen on Twitter soliciting names of non-friendly businesses that support police, singling them out as targets. What a bunch of jackwagons.
Wouldn't that be considered domestic terrorism?
You would think so. Businesses, by Sunday's pre-planned day of rage, rioters had trashed one of the explicit targets, a black-owned downtown Portland cafe. Portland Antifa watcher Andy NGO showed screenshots of the tweets calling for retribution against the Heroes American Cafe owned by John Jackson. We're trying to compile a list of all non-friendly businesses in PDX, aka any company that's hanging Blue Lives garbage in their store or anything else that anti the BLM movement, drop them below. One Antifa associate Twitter account responded, Heroes American Cafe on South Park blocks gives profits to their hero, cops. NGO noted that not only did Antifa and BLM militants bash the windows of the cafe, but they shot it up. Antifa rioters shot inside the Heroes American Cafe in downtown Portland last night during their mass rampage. Antifa has taken issue with the business for putting photos of first responders on its walls and added the cafe to its list of places to target. And here's the screenshot from Twitter. 2 bullets and the owner believes a baseball bat came through the windows. Right? As I previously reported on PJ Media, at least one Instagram account has been set up to receive random, unconfirmed complaints about the wokeness of local restaurants. This could be happening all over the country, as militants are encouraged to report on business accused of racist behavior on Yelp reviews as well as on other social media platforms. Yelp outlined its new ratings on Twitter. Now, when a business gains attention for reports of racist conduct, Yelp will place a new business accused of racist behavior alert on their Yelp page to inform users. So here's the thing. When it comes to Yelp, the business has no recourse with Yelp. So if somebody doesn't like you, and we've seen this time and time again with internet reviewers, they don't like you for whatever reason, they show up on your internet page and they call you an idiot, or call you a racist, or call you uneducated, or say your restaurant's terrible, or whatever, and they've never even been there.
Right.
It is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. The restaurant reviewer Stasi is real. Antifa Yelpers and Stasi restaurant reviewers are posing their definition of wokeness on local business, right? Fox News reported that Jackson, a veteran of both Army and Marines, won't be intimidated. 2 windows in the cafe's downtown location were shot at, and another was struck with a blunt object. Possibly a ball bat, said Jackson, a black man who served in the Army and the Marine Corps. I think it's more psychological, he said. When I first came here to Portland about 10 years ago, it was one of the most accepting cities I knew of. We're here for all heroes, and we don't support zeros, Jackson said. So if you're a bad cop, we don't really have time for you. If you're walking your beat and you're taking care of your people and you're saving lives, we love you. But Jackson will have the last word. Not only are people of goodwill planning to eat at his restaurant as never before, but he told Fox News that the attack solidified my Trump vote. Didn't expect that, did you? I'm done with this weakness, and we need some real strong leadership. A day of ragers also targeted the Oregon Historical Society, bashing windows and ripping out several historical items, leaving them trashed in the street. What a bunch of numbnuts.
Oh, it's obnoxious.
You're going to leave a Yelp review on a black man's business that says he's a racist. Mm-hmm. That's insanity.
I'm sure they had no idea it was a black man.
There isn't a word that describes the level of stupid in that particular.
There isn't. And Webster's can change the definitions all they want.
Yeah. There's just is not a word in the English language that describes that level of stupid.
No.
I agree.
I mean, what more can you say about it? Anyway, our good old Cali Governor Newsom is back at it again with this micro-stamping garbage.
Supreme Court slaps him for this one.
He signed into law a bill that requires newer model handguns in California to be micro-stamped. You know how to fix this? We don't even need a Supreme Court, right?
Don't build newer models.
Don't sell firearms to the state of California's government.
Yeah. Well,
you said no, we decline.
A couple years ago, Hornady and 3 other ammunition manufacturers they said they'd quit selling munitions to any state agency for the state of New York. Police departments, everything. They're like, yep, we're done.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Hey, we don't need you people. If you're that against us, why are we going to support you?
Right.
Gun manufacturers and firearm advocates denounced the decision, noting that it only violates Second Amendment rights and would increase black market activity and non-registered weapons in the state. It would also hurt economically during the time of economic downturn. The thing is, it is so easily defeatable. It's not readable. I mean, this technology of microstamping has been studied and disproven about a half a dozen times now.
I know.
It just doesn't work. Imprints tiny markings on cartridges that had been fired from the weapon for quicker police identification will have to be in at least one part of the interior of the handgun, replacing current law of having it on 2 or more places. Deemed too difficult by gun manufacturers and law enforcement alike. Will also quicken the process by having more microstamp guns instead of non-microstamp guns in circulation by removing 3 non-compliant handguns from the state roster of sellable handguns for every new AB 2847 following model added to the list. So for every gun that they make microstamp, they're going to take 3 away.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I would do as a manufacturer.
Yeah.
Is I would just flat out
You're done.
not make microstamped guns.
Yeah.
And I would stop making the models that are on their compliant list, or stop importing them to California, or change them in such a way that they don't want to make them compliant.
Right.
And then bite me.
Yeah.
Stop
When
selling- stop
all your
selling-
Glocks quit working for the San Francisco Police Department, oh, you need parts? No, we're not going to sell them to you.
Oh, no. Well, Biden's gonna outlaw the sale of parts anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can build like parts.
Ridiculous. Just
Yeah.
complete insanity. Complete insanity.
Socialism.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well,
That's more like communism.
Yeah.
Let's do something a little more-
Socialist Republic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do something a little more fun and look at our products. I got a shovel as the first
The
one.
first one is it's actually a 5-in-1 combined multi-purpose tools.
Yep.
Get the box up here.
Yeah, we can see that.
Looks like a shovel to me.
It's
Kind of.
I dug this out because it's getting to be winter, and
this is
Oh, that's a
this is
hatchet.
yeah, that's a hatchet,
That's a kind of a hatchet.
which without sharpening it, you will not cut anything with it. It's flat on the end.
Screwdriver.
This is the shovel.
Although, if you let me see that hatchet for a second.
It's a safety hatchet.
Yeah, I think this is the world's first child-proof hatchet.
Yep.
Well, we got a shovel, but it's also got a pin.
It's got a saw.
You got a saw. Oh,
And
As sharp as the hatchet.
the reason I got
No,
this
this will
out,
actually work.
It actually works.
this will work pretty good.
Yeah, that's all.
I got this out because winter's coming, and I cannot tell you how many people I have seen alongside of the road stuck in 8 inches of snow, right? And all of these tools would be useful
And a pick.
to get your car unstuck from the snow. And it is all of what, $14?
Yep.
You can dig gravel, dig ice, dig snow
Well, it's got
with that.
If you're in the woods, that shovel might come in handy if that coffee kicks in quick.
Yeah. It's got a compass on there.
Pretty close.
Reads north.
Read north.
Yeah, it's still magnetically sensitive too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's...
Got a hole in the handle.
Yeah, you can put all kinds of other crap in there.
Yeah. So you put your safety matches or your lighter in there. It comes in a decent bag. It's a pretty cool addition to the trunk of your car. Although you are going to have to sharpen the hatchet.
Yeah, if you want a hatchet, you're gonna have to sharpen the hatchet.
Yeah, that is a digging tool at the moment. You know what that would work really well for?
What object to hit somebody with?
Scraping ice off your window.
Maybe.
And scratch the crap out of your window.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, so something like this, I mean, you got multiple tools, you got just something simple that's cheap, comes in a carrying bag, in the trunk of your car. Winter, summer, I mean, you go out camping, you might need it. It's a useful thing that's cheap and works out. And it could get you out in a pinch. The other thing we got, and open that up, Corey, is if you hang around us enough, you'll figure out that we're kind of a fan of Sig Sauer stuff.
Childproof.
Corey can't seem to get the box open. So we're going to check out the Whiskey 3 rifle scope. You can see that. 150 bucks. This one is a what? 3x9 by 40.
3x9. That's a great piece of glass for 150 bucks. I'll
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah, I've got two of these. I've got that exact one. I got a 3x9 by 40 on my 22 mag, and we don't have a lot of time behind that one, but it's
The clarity,
it's
there.
clear. It's a good piece of glass.
And it won't break the bank.
And
And they're
wouldn't break the
lifetime
bank.
warranty.
Lifetime warranty, yeah, guaranteed for life. Infinite guarantee, right on the box. Forever, unlimited lifetime guarantee, fully transferable, no warranty card, receipt required, no time limit applies.
drop it, break it, send it back. We'll send you a new one.
Yeah, and I've also got a 4x12 Whiskey 3 on my 30-06, and the glass clarity was that of, I couldn't get, individual, like at 400 it was tough to pick out, really had to concentrate on bullet holes,
Mm-hmm.
but at 600 I couldn't give you bullet holes, but I could call good hits on
For those of you
targets
that,
at 600 yards with a 4x12.
Yeah.
if you're aware of how clear Leupold is, these are right there with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For less money.
And yeah, for less money. And the thing is, hunting season coming up. Maybe the old shotgun scope's a little grimy. Doesn't really work. Something bent inside of it. The Henry needs a new rifle scope. The lever gun, the old Marlin lever gun, it's getting a little worse for wear. We want to put some good glass on it. Maybe you've been hunting with open sights and the old eyeballs are
The turret's got 0 resets.
working a little less. Take a look at some of these. These are really
Just
good.
pick up, slide
Yeah,
back.
they're not. It doesn't have like
Stuff.
full target turrets. Not the.
But they are numbered turrets with a lock.
But they're numbered turrets. They're locked. They lock, and you can, when you set your 0, you can pick you pick the turret up, and you can rotate it around and reset the 0 number.
Mm-hmm.
That way, if I need to go up 4 inches, you can run it up 4 inches, take your shot, and then run it back down.
Yeah. Good.
And
They're really good bang for your buck. I think you got 2 Whiskey 3s. I got Tango 4.
like a Romeo 5X.
Yeah. So we got the
You got
stuff.
that, what, 7?
Romeo 7, and then we had that Romeo 1 Pro and that
Yeah.
SIG 320.
Yeah. So we've had some pretty good luck with this stuff. So it's been real spot on. So if you're looking for some good glass for hunting season, which we're rapidly approaching,
Please
check
don't,
out.
Please don't wait till the Friday before the Monday of start
Yeah.
to sight your shotgun and rifle in. Get out there now.
Right.
I mean, if you're gonna have to order a sight for whether it's an old Mossberg or a new scope or something, it might have a hard time finding it last
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah. It seems like the week before gun season opens, we mount a lot of scopes, replace a lot of shotgun sights, do a lot of bore sighting, answer a lot of questions, sell a lot of shotgun slugs, stuff like that.
That's
So
the other thing, you buy one of these here, we'll mount it for you. And while you're waiting, you can go and check out the ODNR app and find out actually what the laws say.
right? So that's what we got for you guys this week. Hopefully we will see you guys next week, right about the same time. And we'll have some different stuff for you. Like always, you need to get a hold of us. Give us a ring, stop into the website, send us an email. You want to see something on the show, let us know. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend. We'll be here all weekend teaching classes, so you guys have fun.